4-color control. If you've been playing this standard format at all, and you've been looking around and you ask yourselves questions like, should I play Esper control? Should I play Grixis control? Should I play Jeskai control? And you're just completely indecisive and have no idea which you would like to play. This is the deck for you. It also gets to play sweet cards like Angrath the Flame Chained and Nicol Bolas, which is fantastic. This deck, maybe I want to make a couple changes before we start. This deck was a little bit soft to the aggressive decks in the format. So I might want... How many red sources do we have? We have 10, 11. I might want a couple more Clarions and Real Sweepers out of the sideboard. The mana's got 2, 10. This is 4-color control. This is not 5-color control, it's 4-color control. I'm gonna put an extra Deafening Clarion in and cut the Slaughter the Strong, and I'm gonna put a extra Nova in the sideboard, and probably the last Clarion. A year of enjoying your awesome content, Blackstar Quinn. Thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate that. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. Yeah, that seems fine. Let's dive in here. I don't like to spend a ton of time deck building because it's dry. Angrath did win every game he was cast in Legacy. It's very, very true. This hand has all of our colors and reasonable spells, so definitely a keep. They can't all, not all advertisers can be as clever as I am, trustee. And they cannot all be as clever as I guess this means I'm not a Knight of the Realm. I'm not sure what that means. 12 months, you're definitely there. Thanks for the support, F Gator. I appreciate that. So this does not come into play untapped from the Sacred Foundry, so let's go ahead and get that down. The Stream Decker should be updated. Just uploaded it with a couple of changes I made. Looks like a control matchup. Maybe I'm supposed to shock and play Discovery there to dig for some lands. Possibly correct. Yep. You can find decks for all the decks they're going to be playing later in this stream, and that linked in the deck queue on my website. I am not intending to play Pauper at any point on this stream. I'm going to be greedy and keep that Teferi, actually. I'm going to hope that they play a Chemister's Insight here, and I get to just expansion it and draw 2. Yeah, if you're not into seeing control mirrors, you're definitely not gonna want to tune out for the next hour and a half or so. There's a lot of control in this format, and we are playing a control deck. You don't really care for the alternate art elves. So unfortunately, we've drawn a lot of medium minus cards here. So like these 3 cards are basically mulligans. They're not gonna have a text box in this matchup. Ding ding ding. I think getting a counterspell used on that is kind of a win for me. I think I'm like, that's something I'm like in the market for. So they're definitely a Niv deck, not only because they have Spell Pierce, but because they cared about Profane Procession. So, here's the thing about playing around counterspells and playing against counterspells. So, like, it feels bad to get my Teferi countered there, but sitting on the Teferi and waiting to play it at a later time makes it less likely that my Teferi resolves, not more likely, because my opponent's not going to tap out, and they have cards like Chemister's Insight that I know for sure. So if I give them a chance to wait and see more cards out of their deck, they are more likely to have a counterspell because they've seen more cards to have more chances to draw said counterspell. I think jamming early is often correct. Hopefully, we can draw a Chemister's Insight of our own, so that way we can use it to kind of jumpstart through these cards that aren't particularly good here in the Control Mirror Game 1. Ionize is not a bad pickup. Unfortunately, our opponent's just got a pretty big critical mass of cards. Boy Toy Troy, I've never had this successful relationship before. It's just you and me versus the world, Mr. Hogland. What's going on? Thanks for half a year. Welcome back. I think their ability to have found these Chemister's Insight earlier is probably going to bury us here. They had a lot of counterspells early too, right? Like they have 1, 2, 3, 4 counterspells in like their top 15 cards. Do they have a 5th counterspell? Probably.
Enough.
Really? Okay, well that bodes well for us. Things that went better than expected that turn. Alright. So you're saying there's a chance. That's all I need, really. All I need is a chance. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. The classic, we have 7 lands in play and actually can't cast this Vraska's Contempt. Just 4-color control things. Alright, well they get to draw 2 cards, but we do theoretically get to kill this Div Visit here. So, if they have a counterspell for either of our 2 cards here, I'm just going to go ahead and concede. Because the game is very much over if they untap with Niv. You want Niv to be good. The reason why Niv is good is because if Niv wasn't good, these control mirrors would be super miserable. Just not having ways to actually end the game is really bad. Moment there plays around Spell Pierce. Yeah, I guess that's true. And like, if I use the Moment, I then have Clarion plus another Moment for their next Niv. See, I think you're right that I used the wrong second spell. I don't think it really matters. I think that Niv's pretty likely to draw them into the next one, which is then going to be unbeatable. I mean, Dive Down beats the Clarion too, because Dive Down gives extra toughness. So, like, Dive Down beats Moment and Clarion.
Sorry I'm late. Let's skip to the good part.
All right, is this too little too late? So, I'm actually not going to just jam the Vraska's Contempt on the Teferi here, because they're likely to have a counter spell, and since I have this Ionize in my hand, I'd like to just give them one more draw with the Teferi, so that way next turn I can Contempt with Ionize up. I hit my 8th land tier, so I can just Chemister them so I bin the Moment of Craving at the end of their turn. Just wanted to say I appreciate your standard of organization across your channels, and you're also occasionally funny. Well, thanks for the compliment, Creaseball. Thanks for dropping in. Hope you're having a good Friday wherever you're at. Yep. Yeah. Alright, if they have a counterspell, we're probably dead. I guess that's not strictly true. Hopefully this works. And then we can Thought Erasure into Contempt Ionize here. Yeah, when this stops working, we'll be done. They've drawn enough cards that we probably should be done regardless. Hey, Jichu, thanks for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Yeah, I agree. Thought Erasure is quite fantastic. The Thought Erasure Thief of Sanity curve is very, very strong. So we get to go ahead and cut all these awkward cards that are not very good in a control mirror, and get to bring in a whole mess of counter spells and things of that nature. I need 2 more cuts here. I guess the Mana Compass isn't very good in this matchup, although it does fetch lands. I think it's probably the worst of it. There is not an easy way to currently target spells in the stack. That's one of the interface things in Arena that could really use a little bit of improvement, and expand the stack to the left option I think would be a really good feature. Sure, sometimes they bring in War Boss, but I don't really like leaving a bunch of potentially bad cards in my deck because they might do something is kind of not great, which is why War Boss can be a good plan. Sometimes your 26 land deck doesn't draw a 3rd land. That's just how it goes. Yeah, and if you remember, right, like we didn't have hide arrows initially either. They were something that got added after the fact. So I'm assuming that we'll eventually get expand arrows and stuff like that. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick, and when I get back, we're gonna play some more 4-color control. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Someone asked in chat, is the damage from Ionize better than Surveil 1 would be in this deck? The Surveil 1 is much, much better than dealing 2 damage. However, casting our spells consistently is really important, and this deck's already going to struggle with that a lot. There's only 14 blue sources in it. So having a spell that's easier to cast than Ionize is most important. You want, on average, about 17... You want an average about 17 of a colored source in your deck to play a double color card consistently on turn 3. And this deck only has 14 or 15 blue sources in it, so it falls a little bit short of that goal. Alright, one Clarion, please. I think I'm gonna bin both of these, just like looking for sweepers and lands at this point. So here's the thing about treasure map and color fixing. By the time treasure map has fixed your colors, you're yes, rewarded for digging deep. By the time treasure map has fixed your colors, you're probably dead if you haven't been able to cast your spells. They could be elves. They could also be green-black. Sometimes green-black plays Druid of the Cowl. Oh, they're a dino deck. Okay. Untapped lands here would be great. I think I'm going to hold up Ionize rather than play the Chemister's Insight. Am I? No, I'm just going to try and hit my land drop. Halfway to my sword. Elf King, thank you for the 6 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. No worries. I know, it's kind of hard to get annoyed answering the where's the deck list question because a lot of streamers don't have their deck lists accessible. So if you ever come into my channel, you'll always be able to find the deck list that we're playing via the !deck command in my chat. Do I want to expansion this? I don't think so. You can just hold up a counter spell / removal spell here. All right, take the spell you're close to casting, get rid of that. We'll probably just Vraska's Contempt the Steel Leaf Champion this turn. Just give him a little love tap here. Get him. Yeah, when we hit the Clarion, the game was pretty over. Although they didn't have red mana, so like that we're gonna have a hard time for that reason too. Extra Cleansing Nova sounds great. Star of Extinction sounds great. Subtle Wreckage seems fine. They have a lot of smaller creatures, so Clarion might be fine as well. What do I actually want to cut here? Is the question. Expansion's probably slow. Settle's a little bit too telegraphed a lot of the time. Procession's probably slow. Yeah, Moment probably doesn't hit a lot that's meaningful. Put in a couple of Disdainful Strokes for their larger creatures seems fine. Let's give this a try. A Reaper in the slot of the Guild Mage. Reaper's kind of hard to cast because, like, a good chunk of your black sources are your unclaimed territories, right? So those cards do kind of different things. So, like, Reaper is good against sweepers, whereas Guild Mage is good at breaking board stalls. I guess Reaper's also okay at board stalls. You can trade things off profitably. My opponent decided they didn't want to play against a control deck. All right. All right. Deafening Clarion so good it won 2 games. All right. So normally I would tell you to mulligan a 6-lander, but this deck has so many colors in it that I feel like any hand that has like my 4 colors of mana, I probably want to keep and just hope to draw some spells. The deck comp's gotten better in Traditional. Someone linked a post on the dev forum saying that there is a hidden MMR used for pairings in the Traditional play. So that means as we played more games after the MMR reset, we're getting paired against people who have similar strengths to us based on the ranking record. Someone asked about why don't we play ranked play. I don't enjoy playing Magic as a best of 1 game, so I don't play ranked because ranked is currently only best of 1. Yeah, I agree, Fide. I mean, if this is a control mirror, hitting a bunch of land drops in a control mirror is usually pretty good. Having a cancel in a control mirror, also good. A lot of Jeskai decks have been playing some copies of Revitalize in. Yeah, I don't know if it's very good or not, but something one of my buddies and I worked on was splashing red into the mono blue tempo deck. Because there's a lot of wizards in that deck anyways, so you can play, what's it called? The Wizard Lightning. There is a traditional constructed event, however, that locks us into playing the same deck list card for all of the matches. And I prefer to have the flexibility to change cards in between matches. I don't really care about winning prizes while I play Magic Arena, I just want to play meaningful games of Magic, which the traditional queue has been giving us just fine since the MMR has worked itself out. I always love how every time I talk about the queue's been reasonable for the last few matches, we suddenly like hit a bunch of concessions. If that keeps up, maybe we will poke back into events, but these have been pretty reasonable so far. We played these basically all day yesterday and they were fine. We played the events for a little bit after the MMR reset because that was like getting us somewhat better opponents, but somewhat better deck quality. It's more deck quality than anything else. Playing against decks that just like have a bunch of budget restrictions in it, just like aren't really what we're looking to do. Yeah, that hadn't been my experience so far, Civil Mass. Like I said, we played this queue basically all day yesterday and the day before, and it wasn't just a bunch of people randomly conceding. Obviously, if that's going to be a theme today, we'll probably move back to playing the events, so that way people feel like they're obligated to stay in a little bit more because of some meaningless amount of prize in the line, but... Does the best of 3 queue include deck... I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that question. We've played Scriptures in the blue-black control deck, New Lexicon. The blue-black Karntez deck. It's pretty reasonable in there. Scriptures is sweet because it hoses the, gets rid of Phoenixes, but a lot of the blue-red mid-range decks have moved to playing more Drakes and less Phoenixes, which kind of puts the exile clause on Phyrexian Scriptures a little bit less valuable. Yeah, deck trackers are allowed in Magic Arena. Deck trackers are no different than if you just like sit there and write a bunch of stuff down. The deck tracker is just tracking things that you could manually be keeping track of. Maybe they had to go. All right, I'm just gonna move along with our lives here rather than waiting for them to time out. That's all deck trackers do in any game, is just they keep track of things that you could otherwise be keeping track of. Thanks, Davis. I'm just trying to make the numbers work for myself and for the people that watch. My numbers change drastically. I can reassess what I'm doing, but so far the numbers seem to indicate doing more standard and more arena makes sense. I don't enjoy baselessly speculating things on which I have no information about, Mr. Smiles. So the answer to your question, do I think something would be hard in a code base that I have no idea what it looks like? The answer to your question is, I have no idea, because I don't know what their code base looks like. A deck tracker is a piece of software that keeps track of what cards you and your opponents have played and drawn, and shows you which cards your opponent has played throughout the course of the game, and which cards are still remaining in your deck. In my small amounts of experience doing software development, you should never assume something's going to be easy or hard to do in someone else's code without knowing what it looks like. Legacy, although this shouldn't include any legacy code, right? This is all new stuff, but legacy code especially is terrifying. Yeah, there's a Magic Arena deck tracker that exists. Google it. Wait, what? Like after I sit in the queue for a minute, it declares the draw? Is that what happened? I'm confused. Yeah, Mono Blue Tempo is kind of the go-to budget list for standard right now. Does not contain a lot of rares, 0 mythics usually. Alright, if we have another match that doesn't actually complete, we'll just jump back into the traditional events for the rest of the day. I'm gonna keep this on the draw because it can cast Deafening Clarion, but obviously we need to hit our other colors here. Perfect. We'll be Jeskai control for a little bit this game. I think because we had the Deafening Clarion, it was cast both any third land, this hand was fine. Temple Garden probably means our Clarions are going to be pretty good, unless they're playing something like Bant Fog. That could indicate Bant Fog. Could also be like Aliandrazi's, the Lich deck. Your vault status can be checked by looking in the log files, but that is about it. Well, they're getting rid of the vault. I wish they'd get rid of it sooner rather than letting it sit there and rot, but they did say they're getting rid of the vault at some point. Yeah, looks like the Lich deck. So basically, here's the secret of playing against the Lich deck when you have counter spells. Just counter their Liches. You can't do the combo thing without that, so just keep their key card off the table. Solid advice from the Hogland. Counter the card their deck is named after. Usually a good idea. There's nothing more internet and Magic community specific than like people getting outraged by things that just like, wait, am I? No, this has hexproof. But like they don't have, if we draw Dispersal, we win. I just talked about letting this happen, but like they only have 2 cards in their bin, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna Chemister's Insight. I have Cleansing Nova and Dispersals that kill them. Like, they could theoretically combo us next turn, I guess, but...
I won't hide from the war. Keep up the pace.
know. That could go either way. Like, I feel like them jamming there is them saying, like, they have another one. So, like, I don't want to Ionize the first one, really. And, like, if I hit Cleansing Nova or Dispersal, like, their card's literally just gone. And this Ionize actually says counter your spell, you discard 2 cards or exile 2 cards from your graveyard, which is kind of funny. Fair. Fair. And 2 useless cards. Do this in response in case I hit another Ionize. I did not. Yep. All right. Easy game, easy life. Nice deck. So, Lich's Mastery says, if it leaves play, you lose the game. So, Dispersal kills them there. So, they should be boarding out their Lich's Masteries here. So, against counterspell decks, the opponent's deck's general game plan is boarding in a bunch of creatures to try and win the game with, because we have, you know, dispersals and stuff like that. So one of the intricacies about playing with sideboarded games in Magic is that you don't want to be sideboarding for the deck you just played against. You want to sideboard for the decks you're going to be playing against. So a lot of times in sideboarding, people pivot where their deck's going to be in terms of controlling, mid-range combo, etc. So you need to kind of predict what they're going to do and then adjust what you're doing accordingly, which is one of the big complexities and depth that's added to the game from having sideboarding involved in the game. Yeah, Eldest Reborn in case they have a Carnage Tyrant is probably not unreasonable. Yeah, Compass probably leaves a bit to be desired. Get the 3rd negate in my deck. All right, I think I like this. For people talking about Lich being awful against removal, Lich has hexproof, chat. So the reason why Dispersal and Cleansing Nova are good against it specifically is because they don't care about it having hexproof. So please read Lich's Mastery before you try and say the card is good or bad. Is there ever a reason to run 27 lands over 26? Sure, if you want to draw lands more often, would be the reason. I've definitely registered even 28 and 29 lands in decks before. Formats and decks where you register super high land counts, like 26, 27, 28 lands, are usually formats where creature lands or other forms of utility lands exist, lands that have some kind of effect stapled on them. So that way, when you draw too many lands, you can have something to do with them. I'm actually just going to go ahead and negate this because I just want to use my cards in my hand. The opponent's deck also has pretty terrible mana on average, so countering their cantrip can make them stumble on colors. Also, my mana is going to be used up the next 2 turns by these thought erasures, so I might as well do that. Well, I don't give 2 craps about this Lich's Mastery, right? It's like I'm just going to cast Cleansing Nova and get rid of it. Really actually kind of surprised to see Mastery Soul in their deck post-board. Alright, well, it's right to take it last turn. Ionize can stay right on top there. Obviously, this means I'm going to miss my 5th land next turn, but I think I'm okay with that. If they draw some kind of creature to put into play, I could be in a little bit of trouble here. But if I get to untap and have double Ionize with them having no board, it'll be very good for me. That's really unfortunate. They get to draw 2 cards with this now. Good advice on how to play fun and not rage, especially when being mana screwed all the time. If my best piece of advice is, if you think you are only losing games because of variance, especially mana screw, usually that means one of 2 things is happening. Either 1, your deck is built improperly, or 2, you're not recognizing the points in the game which you could make different decisions in order to impact the outcome of the game that you're playing. Magic's a very tough game because it can be difficult to pinpoint the exact spot at which you actually messed up and lost the game because you messed up. Magic's a game where you can make a decision that's bad on turn 2 or turn 3 and not lose the game until turn 12, but the fact that you made that mistake on turn 3 snowballed the entire game and ultimately ended up losing it for you there. Getting over that initial hump where you're able to start identifying the mistakes that you made and then improving on them is one of the most difficult parts of improving as a Magic player. Yeah, a replay system would be very welcome on Arena. Concur. Have more fun is also a good piece of advice. If you have, at any point you find yourself playing a game, you know, Magic or anything else, and this game is supposed to be something you're doing for fun, and you find yourself just sitting there miserable, upset with the game, you should probably find something else to do with your time. Games are something you should be playing for fun, so if they stop being fun, you should reassess why you're playing them. So, my land on 2 here was actually incorrect. I should have played the basic Swamp on 2. And the reason for that is, if I would have played the basic Swamp on 2, I could have played Chapel untapped on 3 to allow me to play Deafening Clarion. I'm gonna expansion this Sword Point Diplomacy. I do have a Discord server, but it is only for my subscribers and Patreons. If you support me on one of those 2 platforms, you can join the Discord server by following the details here. Yeah, looks like Black Red Burn, which this is a matchup where having access to my Nicol Bolas early is very good for me, because it's going to allow me to pressure them a little bit. I think I'm just going to let them take all of these, actually. Do I want to play Thematic Compass? The alternative is hold up Moment of Craving. Probably don't need to hold up Moment of Craving this turn. Do you think I want to go Compass into Clarion? I guess if they play a bunch of creatures out, I probably want to do that. Well, no, once I play the Swamp, the Chapel comes into play untapped. Yeah, Magic definitely heavily favors the person who's on the play most games, which is another reason why best of one is tough. You have less chance to less chances to come back from those. They've cast 2 3-mana draw 3s. I think I want to just keep my health total as high as possible and gobble this up here. Just activate Compass this turn / play another Moment of Craving depending on what they do. Play Nikki B out here. Rawr. And then when they attack with this, I don't want to block because that means they could lightning strike my guy and then kill it with first strike off the Goblin Chain Whirler. Although now maybe I want to block. Opponent's deck is definitely very good against a deck like ours. In my experience, when we were playing a deck similar to what my opponent was playing, it has a lot of game against these control decks because we don't have time to really punish them. Whereas decks that play to the board, like tokens and White Red Aggro and other aggressive decks, tend to go under what the opponent's doing. But we just don't really have a good way to pressure them, so they just sit here and get to cast all these risk factors and sword diplomacies and draw a bunch of cards. This is a really aggressive attack. That was a good turn. That was a good turn for me. I guess with the Compass threatening to flip next turn, they don't have a lot else going on.
Fighting dragons when I was truly fighting ants.
What do I do here? I think I just draw 2 cards.
My knowledge is endless.
So this covers a creature. All right, their hand's really bad, and Nicol Bolas is just gonna end the game. 4 copies of Negate. Yes, please. Erasure sounds fine. Clarion sounds fine. Cleansing Nova's slow. Nexus of Fate is slow. Procession is slow. Need 3 more cuts here. What do we want? Maybe Expansion Explosion isn't quite good enough. I'm sure my Chemister's Insight as well. Seems pretty reasonable. I guess Compass is slow. Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna leave the Expansion Explosions in. Yeah, Chemister's Insight to help us find threats is probably good. I think the Negates are pretty important. Negates are basically cards that gain us life or stop their draw 3s, so... pretty reasonable. Turn 2 Erasure, turn 3 Deafening Clarion. Afternoon Reaper. That was a fantastic draw off the top as well. Moment of Craving has such good parity against the 2-mana 2/1 that deals 2 damage when it comes into play. Just fully undoes their creature, which is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just kill this right away because I want to get it off the table in case they have more Wizard's Lightnings in their hands. That way they can't get a discounted Wizard's Lightning in response to me Moment of Craving it next turn. When their hand is this low on action, I'm just gonna take the damage. Let's go ahead and grab a card out of their hand here. Sovereign's Bite and Banefire. What are the odds I live to draw another Thought Erasure? Probably pretty low. I'm gonna bin that land because it's not another Black Source. Yeah, take the cards you can't beat is usually pretty good advice. Yeah, we're not, our deck's really just like not capable of ending in the game early, right? So like it's guaranteed to go long. Ooh. This is a fun counter to Sovereign's Bite. Oh gosh, I tapped my lands wrong. I should have tapped these two so I could draw a black card this turn. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I should have tapped the Sulphur Falls and the Glacial and left these two up, I think. Little trades around there. So I have like a counter spell plus like gain 6 in my hand here at some point theoretically, but I don't have a way to actually end the game. Do we not just blame the auto tapper in the shell? No, I believe in personal accountability and owning up to your mistakes. So I tend to not blame the computer when it does what I tell it to do. Red white, green white, or Naya Angels. I really like the green white Angels build we played last time. I was a big fan. To err is human, to screw things up. I love manual tapping so much, it's unbearable. You mean hate it? What's going on, Savits? Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. All right, so I probably want to lead on Nick, right? If I lead on Nick, it puts the most pressure into play, which ends the game fastest. Nicol Bolas also lets me just cast Moment of Craving as a gain 2 to like turn him into a 2/2 till end of turn. So I didn't. Oh, I could also lifelink him. Yeah, that's super important. I forgot about that. It's just like a casual gain 4. Whoo! Activate Deafening Clarion hidden mode. Give lifelink. Price of Fame. Here, I'm gonna gain 2 in response here. That's rude. Alright, Teferi, time for the long haul. The Surveil 2 on this card is very good. This is a lot of card selection. Wow! Just straight up in 2 lands. Seems great.
Hurry!
Everything's going well, Ophi. Negate is an excellent draw here. So ideally, we want to draw another threat. We want to find another Nicol Bolas or something like that. Some way to close the game out. I suppose Teferi eventually ends the game when he gets around to it. Hey, Angrath, that's exciting. We'd love to draw a land here. Perfect. And the reason why we wanted to draw a land is so I can play this Angrath and negate their spell when they go to play it in response to his discard.
Fire.
Oh yeah! Please be Banefire. Please be Banefire. Please be Banefire. Grace of Fame. That's fine. They can't always be the best, right? goes the weasel. No fire, no steel. That's impressive. I thought for sure that matchup was going to be hard for us and we were going to have a little bit of difficulty. How are we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new, thanks for dropping in. For a returning viewer, welcome back. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play Standard on Magic Arena every afternoon, Monday through Friday, and I play some Modern and Legacy on Magic Online in the mornings before that. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. By subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. The NRG Championship Series is a $5,000 cash tournament that happens every single month in 2019 in the Midwestern United States. If you're not in the Midwestern United States, you can check them out. They do broadcasts for all their tournaments every month as well at twitch.tv/NRG series. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into other cards directly with other players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. They also very recently added a draft simulator to their website, so be sure to check that out if you enjoy Limited. InkedGaming.com will love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork that they already have on their website, such as my own Hoaglandia branded merchandise. And speaking of Hoaglandia, thanks for dropping by today, everyone. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch, and I appreciate you choosing to spend part of your Friday here with us. Hope everyone out there's having a great start to your weekend. We're heading on into our next match here with 4-color control. Just won a pretty close game against Black, Red, Burn. We've got a bunch of other sweet standard decks coming in today. If you're not familiar with my content, I usually change up the standard deck we're playing every somewhere between 60 minutes to 2 hours. So we're going to be playing some Esper Amulet, some Grixis Midrange, and some Jund Dinos at the very least before we finish up today. We're going to play one or two more with the 4-color control deck before we get to the next. Yes, and sweet. Like I said, basically any hand where you can cast all of your spells with this deck is a Sneaper Keeper. Great stream. Is mono blue viable for a best of one grind? I'm not sure. So I haven't actually played any best of one because I'm not a huge fan of best of one with regards to Magic specifically, but other people have said the best of one ladder has a lot of aggressive decks in it, and in my experience, mono blue tends to struggle against other aggressive decks like mono red and white red aggro. So if that's the case, the ladder has a lot of those aggressive decks in it, then mono blue is probably not a great choice for playing on the ladder. I think in general, mono blue's a fine choice for playing best of 3 games of Magic with, but I think if you're primarily expecting to face aggressive decks, it's not necessarily great. Creeping Chill. I do not want a Nexus of Fate, so let's spin that. So what are they doing here? So they exiled a Creeping Chill. They have a Maximize Altitude. They must be some kind of Phoenix deck, right? If I had to venture a guess. Hey, Rendrag, thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Did I get my first ever timeout? Definitely. I appreciate the year of support. Welcome back. And Leaf Blade Fighter, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, could be one of the Dredge decks. So if they're playing the Dredge deck, this is probably one of their better cards. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and Ionize this. Maybe I'm supposed to actually save that for like their enchantments, because they have enchantments that like mill them cards. But using my mana that turn is also appealing. How are you feeling about this new schedule for your streaming? Thanks to you, I dove into modern content. So also is modern every morning. So Magic Online is every morning. I'm going to be doing a mix of modern and legacy during the Magic Online portion of my stream. And so far, I think the little bit of Magic Online into Arena is going well. The Arena numbers have been great as always. And it's good to get a little bit of mix and match in there with some of the older content still. Top card of your library in your graveyard. Interesting. We do get to stick Teferi next turn, which is nice. They haven't put any birds in here yet, right? I'm gonna leave that on top for now, because there's a chance that this first one gets run down inside of combat if they have a good turn with Phoenixes. Happy New Year, Fish Lamp Clock. Thanks for the 4-month resub. Welcome back. I appreciate the third of a year there.
I'm not done yet.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself off and on here for a hot second while I eat some lunch real quick. It's about 1:30 here, and I haven't eaten yet today. I did miss untapping a black sword. Oopsie poopsie. Yep. Could have saved Jeffrey, but I'm a big dumb stupid.
Don't make another move.
Awkward. Probably not looking for that.
We need to move quickly.
Looking for some Vraska's Contempts here. That's a pretty good pickup. Let's untap a black source this time around. Thanks for the 3 months, Dylan. I appreciate it. All right, there's another Narcomoeba, so those are going to get swept away by this Deafening Clarion next turn. They've not found another Phoenix yet, though, which is very good for us. Fortunate to not have another one of those coming at us. So Narc's going to pop into play. This Discovery gets 2 more chances to find a Phoenix for them, though. Interesting. So I can keep Defree alive on the back of this Moment of Craving, and then Deafening Clarion cleans up the Narcomoebas next turn. I'm aware, Shimish. Magic Online is unwatchable if you don't know what literally every card on the screen does. You are far from the first person to give that feedback.
Hurry.
That's definitely part of the reason why I'm moving towards doing more arena content. It's just more consumable for a variety of reasons, including that one. Yeah, that cleans up the Phoenixes, which is awesome. Don't worry. I don't expect people just because they enjoy my content to tune into Magic Online, because Magic Online is still Magic Online. Also, from a personal enjoyment standpoint, I think the standard format generates a little bit better games of Magic than like Modern and Legacy do on average. That's really funny, Admiral. This is the one where whenever they surveil, they look at 2 more cards. Woof. Good gameplay is a completely subjective metric. What one person enjoys, other people often won't enjoy, and vice versa. They're already through 2 Creeping Chills, so there's only 2 more of those in their deck. The Mana Compass is an excellent draw here, so I want to make sure I play my Nicol Bolas before the Compass here. And the reason for this is I want them to have to choose which card they're discarding before I make any other plays here. All right, that's a Phoenix, sure. Easy choice, I guess. They have radical ideas, like that Phoenix was going to get in the bin regardless. I don't think I want to expansion this. I think I want to hold on to this for the explosion half here in a second. I also want to play the Compass out this turn and get it flipped over. Yeah, the auto tapper used Azcanta, but that's fine because I wasn't going to use it this turn. So this will flip over. I'll untap Azcanta plus a black source here just to bluff a black removal spell. And then the Compass actually gives me the 4th mana that I need to activate the Azcanta if they don't give me a reason to use the Compass this turn, which is nice. So they can only hit us with one of these this turn if they attack with everything, because I have the Compass plus I have a block. And then next turn I get to double Procession the 2 Phoenixes that are in play, which probably ends the game. It's like I'm going to 13 here, but this pays 5 to exile something, and I've got a ton of lands in play. So I just get to gobble these birds up. It's like Thanksgiving dinner, chat. There's some Arclight. Arclight is on the menu. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11. So unfortunately, oh, the Teferi's gonna untap 2 lands. So I can actually Thought Erasure and double Procession, which is great. Let's make sure this is going to tap right here. They see the Procession of this is. The Procession is such a randomly just like total blowout card in these matches where people can't interact with it. Settle the Wreckage seems pretty good here. Thought Erasure seems fine. Cleansing Nova seems slow. I think Clarion's good for hitting the reset button when we need it. You're supposed to let the auto tapper do its thing and then complain about it, right? What do I want? What do I want to cut? Most of my cards seem reasonable here. Would you compare Procession and Vana for control sideboards? Yeah, definitely, Lifeguard. They do very similar things. I think it's just the expansion explosions. They're a little bit awkward against the faster decks. There's just another slow, grindy card. I can see Negate being okay here, too. Honestly, maybe Negate's just better than these Ionizes. They don't actually have that many creatures, right? It's like just the Phoenixes. I think that's actually the case. Let's swap the Negates for the Ionizes. Drag our curve down a little bit. Let's give this a go. Nova to clear out their enchantments is interesting. I forgot that that's a line of text on that card, because usually you're thinking about it to kill creatures with. And that's probably a good idea. I think I'm just going to play Search here rather than holding up Negate. Yep. Like, ideally, I want to be negating, like, their enchantments that help mill them faster, more consistently. And getting the Search for Azcanta down makes me far more likely to hit my third land drop, so it gives me 2 looks at it next turn. Yeah, hitting land drops 3, 4, 5 is really important here. God bless you, little Azcanta. Show me the way to the Azcanta. Don't mind if it does. I wonder if they bring in counter spells post board. Oh, I was like, oh, I'll just cast Nicol Bolas. Nope. No, we will not. Not casting that one. Do I just want to negate here? Yeah, let's just like shut down their critical mass a little bit. Just like get my resources used. If they play something like a Ral next turn, I'm a little bit sad to have used the negate aggressively, but a lot of their cards aren't that high impact. Hit an untapped land, play Teferi, miss on an untapped land, play Nicol Bolas. So you got good plays here regardless of what we want to do. What we hit next turn. Ding. I'll remember to untap a black source this time. So my Moment of Craving is castable.
Let's slow this down. We need to move quickly.
Yep. Could you imagine how slow games of Standard would go if they actually got slower when Teferi said we need to slow things down? It's like, what are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? How many cards are in my bin? 3? I think I'm going to keep the land here. Plus Teferi before I make any decisions.
You know what?
Probably go Thought Erasure plus Nicol Bolas this turn, depending on what the Thought Erasure shows us. I think I actually want to take... No, I'm going to take the Unexplained Disappearance. I really don't want them to be able to bounce my Nicol Bolas and attack my Teferi for free. So they'll ditch the Phoenix here. But still, just like getting rid of cards in general is fine, because like that Phoenix was going to turn into a Chemister's Insight Jumpstart. Yep. Is that a third Phoenix? Woof. So, what's it called is one of my better hits here. So they can kill Teferi this turn by attacking it with all the Phoenixes. They can alternatively also just like deal 6 to me. Oh, this is really good. This is a good line on the opponent's part. I like this a lot out of them. So I'm assuming they're gonna just hit me to 9 here. Really, they're killing Teferi. Killing Teferi seems good for me. I wonder if they board down on Creeping Chill. I wonder if boarding down on Creeping Chill seems like something that could reasonably happen. I would love to transform this. All right, let's do this. And then Nick here will take the last card out of their hand. Then Nick's ready to flip over and pick Teferi back up next turn. Oh, that's annoying. No, I'm pretty sure Thematic Compass specifies basic lands. So I'm choosing the Chemister's Insight here rather than use my search for Azcanta because I really would like to draw a copy of Nicol Bolas because it's one of my better cards I can draw here. That's actually really good here because my deck is not that large. They might be milling themselves, but if they choose to mill me, I'm probably not going to be in a good spot. Oh, that is only opponents. Yeah, you're right. Can't choose to do that. Woof. So yeah, I should definitely have Cleansing Nova in my deck still. I think for the next game, we're going to put both Cleansing Novas back in so we can kill enchantments like this. This is so wild. Reading the card tells me what it does. I've learned so much today. They buried my other Nicol Bolas. That's probably the end. I don't think I actually have ways to interact with this. Like one Teferi left. I do have Dispersal, technically. Dispersal into untap, counterspell it. Okay, I forgot there was a Nexus of Fate in my deck. That's actually a really good draw. So let's not use my search for Azcanta here. Yeah, that means I can't deck, which is great. All right, and then I just negate their Chemister's Insight next turn. Magic Arena does not currently gracefully handle neither player being able to win the game. Oh, I should leave the Clarion on top because they're milling anyways. Yes, I agree with you. That is a good suggestion. I do still have the ability to win this game though currently. I have a Teferi in my deck. Alright, so let's start by activating this because I can find the Nexus. Sweet. Oh, I have Angrath in my deck too. Perfect. Then let's cast this. And then let's cast Thought Erasure. That's a land. Don't want to draw a land. Oh, I should Dispersal and then Erasure. Yeah, that's a better sequence. I agree with you. This is funny. Activate Azcanta plus my Angrath. Dispersal, get rid of your enchantment. What a silly game. They could chain a bunch of cantrips together here. If they draw a cantrip and chain a bunch of cantrips and flip their birds out, they could beat us here. Yeah, if they hit a bunch of cantrips and kill the Angrath, we could maybe have a hard time actually winning the game. But if they don't put Phoenixes into play here, we should be in a good spot to win once we untap. Sweet. All right, we found Teferi too.
No fire, no steel.
Looking for our Nexus of Fate. So if I play Teferi, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have enough to play Teferi and cast Nexus of Fate here because I'll only have 5 afterwards. Let's just Nexus of Fate. I mean, we're working towards Angrath ulting here, right? Like, Angrath ulting is lethal. They found an Arcomoeba. No, I could not have Nexus after untapped my lands. I only had 3 left, and I would have needed 5 left.
No fire, no steel.
Unless I miscounted. Maybe I miscounted. Woof. Alright, so hopefully this card's a Nexus of Fate. Yeah, I think you're right that I miscounted.
Hold that thought.
That was not the Nexus of Fate I wanted for Christmas. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I could have Nexus after the Teferi untap. So I'm 1 card behind here. So like if this top card is Nexus, I could have gotten that Nexus. It probably doesn't matter here. I believe we're deterministic at this point. This deck slogs out such great wins. We should, and this is why someone asked earlier why there was 1 Nexus of Fate in our deck. The 1 Nexus of Fate is literally for these wins, where the game just goes like incredibly long. You just like get your Planeswalkers going with it and win the game that way. I technically should have cast Nexus of Fate during my upkeep there. All right, let's play one more at the control deck before we move on to the next one here. What are we playing after this? Playing Esper, Amulet, or we're playing another Nexus of Fate deck. Nexus of Fate is such a fair, fun, and balanced Magic the Gathering card. So, you're supposed to stop on the upkeep to cast the card. Upgraded my sub for Christmas. Hope you had a good one. Pizza Age, thank you very much for the very generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate that. Remember, tier 3 subs get to submit a deck every month, so feel free to fill out the submission form on my site so I can get something added for you. So the difference with the Nexus on the upkeep is Nexus shuffles itself back into our deck after we cast it, which means if I Nexus during my upkeep, I then get my draw step to give me an extra chance to redraw the Nexus of Fate right away. All right, this is a lot of fast pressure here. I have the Ionize to alleviate a little bit of it. We're probably okay. So Ionize counters their next play, and then we have Contempt to pick off the Wild Growth Walker here. Probably fine. Yeah, that one's gotta go. So we want to make sure we play the Swamp or the Black Source this turn so we can Contempt. They missed a land drop, which is good for us. Yep. Huh. So if they missed a land drop, do I exile one of these two, or do I just exile this? I think I'm gonna exile the Wild Growth Walker. And if we're professional, we'll just draw Clarion next turn. I also have Discovery that can dig to Clarion, right? Oh, I can Explosion for 1. Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Explosion for 1's a good line. I like that suggestion a lot. And like, because this replaces itself. It's like not mana efficient, but they're stumbling. And like, as these games go long, my deck is more favored to win because my deck's kind of grindy and has more top end in it on average. So I basically want to make plays that try and ensure that the game's going to go as long as possible. All right, so I drew the Clarion. The problem with cashing in the Clarion here is that the Midnight Reaper would draw them 2 cards. I think I'm passing, and I'm gonna Explosion the Midnight Reaper for 2, and then they'll play the Land War Elves out, and then I'll Clarion next turn after they Land War Elves. So I think this is fine. So I'm gonna kill this inside of combat, and then we can Erasure plus Clarion next turn. Dispersaling the Reaper's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. They just get to replay the Reaper next turn. So long as they don't stick something like a Vivian here, I guess like a Demon would be bad too. I'm hoping they just like play things out that die too. Well, shoot.
The wild wasn't meant to be contained.
All right, so I'm probably gonna lead on. Oh, you know what? I can... Well, that's gross. Well, shoot. I could Dispersal plus Thought Erasure this turn. Yeah, I can Dispersal plus Erasure. The problem is both Vivian and Carnage Tyrant are issues here. And Thought Erasure does not solve both of them. So I'm hoping to fade a land drop this turn. Hopefully they just like play it. Yep, alright. So we're dead. Got it. Get it, got it good. Goes the weasel. Yeah, I need another Clarion there, or one main deck copy of Nova. So we bring in a Nova, a Settle the Wreckage, and a Star of Extinction post board. Extra Thought Erasure as well. Moment of Craving leaves a bit to be desired in this matchup. Some Clarions are okay, but I don't think I want a ton of them. 2's probably fine. Do I want Disdainful Stroke? Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, Ritualist's actually probably better than the Clarions, because this kills large Wild Growth Walkers. Yeah, Profane might be a little bit clunky. That could be a way to get a stroke in my deck. I like it. Now, I think the 1 Nexus is important to keep in the deck for the games that go really long. Why does Explosion have to go with Clarion, Rod? Like, Explosion's just a fine card for, like, having a great top deck in the late game and drawing a bunch of stuff to guess up. It's like different Sphinx's Revelation. It's definitely a worse card on average, but it's not exactly the same. I don't think I need a second blue. Let's spend that for now. Perfect. We'll just have to take the find, right? And I need to bin that because I need cards that play to the board at this point because they're going to have too many things on board. Yep, just digging for ways that play to the board. So we're taking a hit for 5 to 6 this turn, and then we're going to get to Chemister's Insight. We need to find a way to stem the bleeding ASAP here. Try and bridge into that late game. Usually if we can stabilize at a health total or we can take at least 1 hit from a Carnage chart, we end up doing all right. When we get like sub 7, things start to get scary. And the problem with the Sweeper at this point is that Midnight Reaper draws a card for everything that dies here. So like they're going to draw 4 cards if I hit a Ritual of Soot. What was that? Those were good hits. Nicol Bolas gets to get blocking here. Sphinx's Revelation does what control decks are looking to do, and that it helps them make the game last longer. So it gives you card advantage in control mirrors, and it buffers your health total against aggressive decks. So it checks a lot of the boxes that you're looking to check. The Ritual's not even good, chat. They draw 4 cards. I guess it's the line. I guess it's the line. I'm like not happy about it though. A piece of spot removal or a Vraska's Contempt was much better than Ritual of Soot there. For reference, for everybody that's super excited like that was the best card drawn on our deck. I think we have enough cards left over that maybe we can play through this, but it's definitely clearing their board there is not an exciting proposition. Now, I mean, I could play Nicol Bolas and just threaten to block there.
Why balance comes.
Teferi's a really good pickup. Is the audio doing the thing? I thought I heard the audio start to do the thing too. Teferi on an empty board is pretty good. If the audio foobars again, I'll kick it. We've been playing for like 4 or 5 hours. That's usually about the time it starts to happen.
Skip to the good part.
It's like Arena is drunk and slurring its words, right? So do I play Nick plus Thematic Compass here? I think so. Alright, I'm gonna play this and then I'm gonna kick it real quick. That's not your audio, it's Magic Arena. Give it the old reconnect here real quick. Arena dreams to be in a heavy metal band someday. Well, I get to hold up expansion W card because I get to I still get to hold expansion up because I have the Teferi untap. Double Midnight Reaper's pretty good here. Got it. So I assume we're going to see all three of these attack Teferi. So block here. Spires this. Tef lives at 1. They draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. I have a desk that goes up and down, so I split my time sitting and standing. Recently gotten into MTG. What's the best way to learn the ins and outs? Yeah, definitely. Play a lot, watch a lot, read a lot. Magic the Gathering has a fantastic set of strategy content. So all of the standard format that you play on Magic Arena is the same as the standard format that's played in Paper Magic. So you can learn a lot about the game just by reading stuff that people have written for paper tournaments too. I think I want to just Explosion with this rather than expansion this and then get something else here. My health total is not that low. So if I do this, I could do this for X's 3 this turn. And then hopefully that digs me to a way to deal with this Carnage Tyrant. Oh, right, we have Vivian Read happening. Awkward. Awkward. I guess I should have flipped this over. No, I never had a sponsor link, Jin.
I won't lose more.
I tried to work some stuff out with them, and then I had some issues with their product, so it ended up not going through. So I think I just want to keep Teferi alive. So I'm going to go ahead and Spires this, and then Explosion one of these elves for 2. Yeah, I could Explosion Viv, but then I lose my Teferi, and I think my Teferi staying alive is more important than their Vivian. Maybe I'm misassessing that. You can only flip Nicol Bolas at sorcery speed.
Hold that thought.
Chat, you can't flip Nick at instant speed. That's not what his text box says. Please and thank you. Another Compass is pretty good here. Let Teferi stay alive for another turn. So I can double Spires plus activate Azcanta here, which is nice.
Meet my newest friend.
The Dino Frenzy deck is a good time. That's probably where I'm starting when we get Stomping Ground and a full spoiler. That deck's really sweet as is, so even just like better mana without new toys, it's gonna be really great. And like there are only 33 cards in my deck, and there's 2 Cleansing Novas and a Meteor in there still, so. How greedy? I don't know how to answer that question. Like in what context? Alright, 1 Star of Extinction, please. Settle the Wreckage will also do in a pinch. Forgot we had one of those as well. Perfect. We had a Contempt for Vivian. I think this is activate Azcanta, untap my lands, have another activation turn. Yeah, seems good. Disdainful Stroke sounds wonderful. So Teferi untaps this and this. Oh! Oh no! Oh no, I didn't untap double white! Oh, oopsie poopsie. Oopsie poopsie. Mistakes were made, chat. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything. My lands are really small. Maybe they won't notice. My lands are really tiny. Maybe they won't. Oh no. Oh no, they're bouncing over my lands. They're figuring it out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The answer is it depends. Oh, did they not? Did they send that? I'm just super sloppy. I could have saved Teferi there. Mistakes were made. No, the steps were colorless. You were promised quality play? That's a lie. Ain't nobody promised you quality play here. This is like for a good time call stream. This is nothing about professionalism here. It's fine, chat. We're still ahead. We're still ahead. We are miles ahead at the moment. I only make promises I can keep, and quality gameplay is definitely not one I can keep. Z-Ball, thanks for the brand new Prime sub. No, there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. One cleansing Nova, please. Let's clean this place up here, shall we? Bye, friends. Just like we drew it up, okay? Stop it.
Keep up the pace.
The best part about playing control decks like this is when you lose a game with a control deck like this, you lose really quickly and then it's over. But when you win a game with a control deck like this, we get to sit here and win the game for like 45 minutes, and it's so wonderful. That, look at a true skill game. Just our one disdainful stroke coming in clutch there. All right, Ritual of Soot versus Deafening Clarion. Discuss. Ritual of Soot versus Deafening Clarion. Clarion's less mana to cast too. It doubles up with expansion to kill their big dumb stupid. Ionize gets a little bit worse on the draw. Rituals kills larger butts. That is definitely the case. You know, I'm actually going to cut these Ionizes on the draw. I'm going to bring in another stroke, and I'm going to bring in a, hey, saw you playing Ollie Mine at SCG Milwaukee. Don't let your beams be dreams. Thanks for the 2-month support there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim the Ionizes on the draw. Let's bring in 3 Clarions and another stroke. Let's do that. So I'm not a big fan of Eldest Reborn in this matchup because the opponent's deck has so many tiny creatures in it that it often has a hard time actually killing Carnage Tyrant. Sure. All right. So we're Grixis this game. Got it. Narset Cannon. That deck's more like a piece of performance art than a Magic deck, really. All right, what are we working with? Duress, Jade Light. God, their hand's really good. I think I'm supposed to take Jade Light here, right? And kind of slog through the rest of this. Second Erasure on top is perfect. 10 out of 10 take Jade Light there if I know I have an Erasure on top. because now the Erasure can take the Karn, because they're going to duress our Disdainful Stroke, but then we can Erasure their Karn. Now, I think they're probably going to take the Stroke here. Yeah, because they want to stick the Karn. See, we very skillfully left the best card on top of our deck, so they couldn't duress it here. That is not a white source, so let's spin it. To be fair, Angrath's probably worse in Standard than he is in Legacy. He's a total powerhouse in Legacy, nigh unbeatable, you could argue. Who's excited to draw an uncastable Clarion? I know I am. That's true. His animations are much better in Standard on Arena. The lack of Angrath animations on Magic Online are very sad. We won every game Angrath resolved when we played him earlier today in Legacy. Ooh. Ooh. Do I Angrath here? Angrath goes to 5. Yeah, I think I just want to start grinding away at their hands here.
You're just fuel for the fires of no fire, no steel.
No fire, no steel. All right, so their last card that we don't know is a Carnage Tyrant. Trophy. Deal. That gives me a basic Plains. Thanks for the fixing. Now we want them to draw Carnage Tyrant or a Planeswalker so we can jam this Star of Extinction down their throat. Yes! Victory! All right, is this a concession star? Feels like a concession star. You get the Memorial to Folly too, just like, come at me, come at me. Oh baby, oh baby. You get the, every time you get the Memorial to Folly, it's just like, should this even be legal? This is just like too good. Oh, geez. I get to do this. I'm just going to keep my health total high and clear this out. They draw the Carnage Tyrant they can't cast next turn, and then Nicol Bolas just, like, punches them in the face and says, hey, you didn't want that Carnage Tyrant, did you? Could you just slide it over there into the other game zone? You weren't too attached to that one. All right. Gas me up, baby. So this is going to be the last game we're playing with this 4-color control deck today. Remember, if you want to see more of this deck, because it is incredibly sweet, there are 2 or 3 other videos of me playing it on my YouTube channel. Of course, I'm not going anywhere just yet. We're going to play 2 or 3 other sweet decks before we're done for the day.
No one can stand in my way.
There we show me one Carnage Tyrant, please. Roar. Are we done here? Are we done? Goes the weasel. Our opponent was a trooper for sure. They hung in there way longer than most would have. Yeah, we made a couple of small changes to lists we played previously. I liked having an extra Nova. I liked having the 4 Clarions in the 75, but I think this deck was a lot of fun. If you're looking for a sweet control deck and you can't pick between Jeskai, Grixis, and Esper, why not play all 3, really? Mardu, technically this is a Mardu deck as well.